From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 1997, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, February 10th, 2016. Amateur radio has lost 3 inspiring women. We have this team report.
Rose Shure, who became the chairman of the audio products manufacturer Shure Incorporated after the death of her husband Sidney in 1995, has died in Chicago. The company, founded by Sidney Shure in 1925 as an outgrowth of his hobby in amateur radio, began as a small mail-order distributor of components for homebrew radio builders. Shure later got into manufacturing of audio components and during World War II supplied microphones to the U.S. military, including headsets and noise-canceling microphones. Dubbed the microphone maven in her obituary in the Chicago Sun-Times, Rose Shure married Sidney Shure in 1954, and in the decades that followed, helped deliver mics to the hands of presidents as well as performers, from Franklin Roosevelt to Elvis Presley, and, of course, to hams everywhere. Rose Shure was 95. I'm Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mary Harding, a wireless operator who worked for the Bletchley Park codebreakers in Britain during the Second World War, has died in Britain.
Mary Harding, born Dorothy Mary Thompson, was from Keynsham in Somerset. She had worked as a Morse code slip reader and learning wireless techniques and code as a young volunteer for the war effort. In her memoir, Mary described her assignment at Bletchley Park like this. It turned out that we were a nucleus for setting up signal communication using high-speed Morse virtually worldwide. Many of the messages in German were given to the code breakers, making accuracy paramount. The work at Bletchley Park was credited with shortening the war by 2 years. Mary Harding died on the 19th of January, just days after she had turned 93. Her daughter Sarah added, Mary Harding passed her legacy on to her daughters years later when she and her husband David raised their family. Sarah told the newspaper, one of the first things she taught us 2 daughters was Morse code. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Bucci, 4NJH in Nottingham, in the UK.
And lastly, the ARRL has lost a beloved member of its extended family. Evelyn Gao, W4WYR, longtime vice director and honorary vice president, became a silent key in Florida January 31st. She had been the ARRL Southeastern Division vice director for more than 20 years and was co-founder of the Miami Tropical Jamboree, which she chaired for 45 years. She received numerous awards and in 2012 was inducted into the CQ Amateur Radio Hall of Fame. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all who knew these 3 amazing ladies. Flint, Michigan isn't the only city affected by lead in the water supply.
A group of amateur radio volunteers responded recently to a crisis in one Ohio community by showing up without their radios. They needed their hands free instead to help distribute bottled water, safe, drinkable water for more than 8,000 residents of Sebring, Ohio, who'd learned on January 18th that their drinking water had become tainted with a high lead content. By January 22nd, Mahoning County Aries Emergency Coordinator Wes Boyd, W8IZC, had activated Aries to assist the Ohio and Mahoning County Emergency Management Agencies in distributing the water in Sebring. The radioless radio operators were welcomed by the Red Cross and the Emergency Management Agency personnel, who put them to work immediately distributing pallets of the bottled water. When the weekend came, another call went out for help, and this time, even more Aries volunteers showed up from neighboring counties. Officials report that the volunteers were able to move more than 166 pallets of water over a 6-day period. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana.
And finally, one Arkansas club is celebrating its 100th year by giving a gift to a lady named Fifi. Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, explains.
What better way to celebrate your 100th birthday than to give a gift to someone else, perhaps a somewhat younger but distinguished military veteran? In this case, the centenarian is the Amateur Radio Club of the University of Arkansas, W5YM, and the gift recipient is Fifi, the noted B-29 flying fortress that served the nation honorably during World War II. The historic aircraft is in the process of being restored, and members of the Rockwell Collins Amateur Radio Club are setting up a radio operator's position on board. The gift from the hams at the University of Arkansas should fit right in. They're presenting Fifi with a J37 telegraph key, also known as the Mae West key, named in tribute to the shapely entertainer so popular during the war years. The key itself was notable in its own right for the remarkably curvy indentations on its base. Fifi, by the way, is still flight-worthy, and now with the Smith-Irwin Memorial Radio Operator position nicely equipped with the J-37 telegraph key, the aircraft will be taking to the skies carrying just a little more history on board. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Skeeter Nash, N5ASH in Topeka, Kansas.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 37 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Paul Brown, WD9GCO, Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, and Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide. I'm Don Welbanks, AE5DW. 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.